Everyone needs a little hero. Chapter 27. Calling all heroes. It was a slow process, but Hero was finally starting to feel normal. He was slowly making his rounds to call on his human friends, albeit without being seen, and help them in the ways he could. He managed to sharpen most of Watley's pencils for sketching. He left a few encouraging notes for Maggie, and he even managed to get some of the things in Eliza's apartment out from under the couch so she could find them later. Overall, the teenage borrower was feeling rather optimistic about everything in life once again. The only human he had really purposefully come out to talk to and let himself be seen by since the incident was Sam, and he couldn't be happier with that decision. Sam was there and always ready to talk about anything and everything at Hero's pace. With the changing seasons, Sam had to stay home and go to more doctor's visits recently, so Hero was able to come by and keep him company, playing games and goofing off. There was only one time when Hero was close to being seen by Sam's mother, but Sam was able to quickly make a fort of blankets to cover up his 4-inch tall friend. It was a jarring experience, but Hero managed to keep himself composed and steady, even after when Sam's mother left the room. So, when Ray came to Hero with a proposition, Hero felt relatively good about it, at least in the beginning. Ray, his fellow borrower friend, evidently had been seen and was now in communication with a new human in the building named Theo. Theo was a good guy, according to Ray, and he seemed trustworthy with the secret of borrower kind. In full transparency, Ray ended up telling Hero everything about how he and Theo met, which set Hero on edge. "You mean his sister saw you too?" asked Hero, feeling his body shudder with a sudden chill that emanated from his bones. "Held you?" "Well, yeah, but she thought I was a toy and hasn't pried any further, according to Theo. But listen, I really think that we can help Theo as part of the whole Help Humans campaign," emphasized Ray. "He's in a wheelchair, so you don't have to worry about him getting too close to you. Sure, he's an inventor, but he won't hurt us. I've already run the test on whether or not he is friendly and safe. Plus, our activity doesn't require either of us to be seen. He'll just assume it was me." Hero knew Ray wouldn't lead him astray on a wild goose chase, but the thought of even accidentally being seen by someone new stopped him in his tracks. In a weird way, he suspected this was how he sounded to Ray when talking about helping humans who were already friends. Hero also knew Ray had a sixth sense about humans, one he wished he possessed with more accuracy, and he decided it would be worth helping Ray. "Okay, what is this plan of yours again?" asked Hero. "Okay, I'll cut to the chase. Theo needs money to help him with his legs. I know we don't have money, but other humans do," said Ray. Hero immediately felt something inside him bristle. "Ray, you're not saying we borrow money from other people, are you? That's not borrowing, that's stealing," said Hero, feeling like he was scolding his friend. Ray shook his head and waved his hands as if waving away bad air. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that coins get lost under the floor and under furniture all of the time. We even have some in our home. Paper bills get lost too. All of these things are ones that get lost. We're just collecting them and giving them to someone else. If they're lost and the humans aren't looking for them, then they aren't being missed. It makes it fair game. What do you think?" Ray pointed out. Ray did have a point. A lot of borrowed things were things that weren't missed, and that spare change would fall under that category. Plus, Humans moved in and out of all of these apartments, meaning the people currently living in the apartment might not have been the ones to lose the money in the first place. Given these circumstances, Hero felt like he could get behind Ray's plan. Okay, so we are just going around to different apartments collecting coins and then bringing them to Theo. How will we know if it's enough? Hero asked. He knew how to count, but the whole concept of money was beyond him. Borrowers worked in trade, not money. I have no idea. We can ask Ashlyn, if you feel up to it. Or we can just surprise him with it and hopefully it'll be enough, said Ray. I assume the numbers on all of them mean something, so we could try and add them together. But I think just giving it to Theo would be best. To Hero, it seemed like a decent enough plan. It kept them safe and hidden, while accomplishing another goal of helping someone. With a couple of nods and a few minutes of thought, he decided to agree. All right, just being safe is what matters, said Hero. At this, Ray gave him a thoughtful grin. Well said. And definitely a top priority. Now, let's go exploring. We've got a lot of ground to cover, said Ray. The next day, Ray and Hero met up at Ashlyn's apartment before setting out into the walls for spare change. Admittedly, it was a bit more of a task than the boys thought it would be. First and foremost, the coins were deceptively heavy, especially when you started collecting them. One after the next, they gained weight quickly, and the boys had to make multiple trips to the outlet by Theo's bedroom in order to drop off the coins they collected. Second, the coins didn't all look the same. They kept seeing the same 4, sure, but there were others in the mix too. Some had odd scribbles and writing on them. Some of the writing looked like squares, others looked like squiggles, and some looked close to the 4 they saw, but were different sizes with different numbers on them. You don't think, puffed Hero as he helped stack another set of coins with Ray's help, that there are this many different kinds of coins, do you? I mean, the world is a big place, but there are so many different types. There is no way there are this many, heaved Ray as he hoisted another silver coin on top of another that was about as big as his torso. I mean, why would they have so many different types? They all use it, right? Some of this might be play money? The stuff they don't actually use except to play with? I have no idea. Maybe you could ask Ashlyn about it, Hero suggested. Ray consented to ask Ashlyn about the different types of coins and money once they made it back for dinner. They took a few breaks, especially after they found a dozen or so odd-looking papers that looked like paper bills. They crawled under floorboards, between beams, and even dared to venture into an attic crawl space and found a few coins wedged among decorations for different holidays. After another long-ish break, the 2 borrower boys decided they had enough to present to Theo. Though they weren't sure how much was actually in their hoards of stacked coins, they knew it would definitely help. It was only now, however, that Hero started feeling a little uneasy. He took a few deep breaths and stared at the back of the electrical cover in front of him. Used to, he would be filled with exhilaration. He used to be so excited to go out and see who he was going to be helping. Now, however, he just felt a massive pit in his gut. Most of his body felt like he was in some kind of cold sweat, and his nerves felt jittery and aching all at the same time. Hero? The young borrower startled as Ray came up and set a comforting hand on his shoulder. Hero stared into the reassuring pale blue eyes of his friend and realized, only now, how hard his heart was pounding against his chest and that his breathing had increased tenfold.
Yeah?
Stammered Hero.
You okay?
Asked Ray. You know, you don't have to do this next bit. I can manage on my own from here. You've seriously done so much already. Ray's smile seemed just as luminous as the light at his hip. Hero felt his heart slowing as he was pulled out of his mental spiral. He looked back at the electrical cover, the light coming from all sides around it, making it seem like some kind of magic door. He wanted to go. He wanted to go and meet Theo. He wanted to see the look on Theo's face when he spotted the coins. Still, the apprehension and experience from the last time he spontaneously met someone, that girl named Lily, was fresh in his mind. He knew he could trust Ray, but the last thing he wanted was a repeat experience. Still, a hero needed to be brave and face their fears in order to live up to their name. Hero wanted that. Swallowing dryly, he nodded. I want to go. Ray's smile broadened, as if he were beaming with pride at some unspoken personal growth. Good. Then let's go. No time like the present. With that, the borrower boys pried off the electrical cover and hoisted themselves over the edge of the wall that divided the world of the borrowers and the world of the humans. Hero glanced out and saw that they had emerged under some kind of furniture piece that was probably a dresser. He glanced down after taking a few steps out and saw that there was carpet under his feet that was squishy and made him feel a little off balance. Hero would have stepped a little further out from under the dresser, but something immediately caught his eye that made him freeze. There was a human on the ground. For a moment, Hero thought about retreating back into the walls, but he steeled himself and stayed fixed to his position on the ground. The human boy's face was slightly off to the side and his eyes were closed. His breathing was ragged, and he was shivering violently. Hero watched as Ray glanced toward the slightly open door before darting out into the open toward the human. Hero stayed planted to the spot. He wanted to go over and help, but only now did he realize he was shaking a bit too. Seeing a human's head 3 or so feet away, practically looking under the cabinet, was a bit alarming to see, and it was the last thing he expected based on Ray's description of Theo. Theo! Theo! Ray was shouting. Hero snapped out of his stupor and looked toward his friend, and the sight made a cold shiver shoot up his spine. Ray was pushing on Theo's forehead, touching and slapping his face ever so slightly to try and awaken the human. Theo groaned and stirred, which set another round of convulsing shivers through his body. Theo, what happened? You're burning up, said Ray. Ray's usual calm demeanor seemed rattled, seeing his friend on the ground and in obvious discomfort. Hero couldn't stay put. He needed to do something. Taking a breath, and still shaking in his shoes, he dared to take a few steps forward out from under the dresser to observe the rest of the room. There was a mechanical whirring sound coming from the towering desk on the opposite end of the room. A chair with massive wheels that were about as wide as Hero was broad was nearby, but it looked slightly shifted. Based on what Hero was seeing, it looked like Theo might have fallen directly out of the chair and onto the ground when this sickness started. Hero glanced at the door again, hearing nothing at the moment in the rest of the apartment, before approaching the immense human on the ground. Theo! Ray's panicked shouts finally roused the boy as he lazily blinked. Ray? Mumbled Theo. What? His voice failed as sleep tried to pull him back into oblivion. No! Theo! Don't go back to sleep! What's wrong? Are you sick? How long have you been like this? Demanded Ray.
I feel sick,
muttered Theo.
I just need sleep.
Hero listened as Theo continued to try and form words, while Ray persistently questioned his friend. Hero, out of curiosity and wanting to stay slightly out of Theo's direct field of view, dared to venture around Theo to see if there was something they were missing. And they were. Right as Hero made it to Theo's legs, he saw that his pant leg by his shin was dark. Hero was terrified out of his wits, but hearing Ray's distress and knowing Theo obviously needed helped him scrounge up enough courage to walk all the way down toward the end of Theo's long pant leg. Using his hip lamp, he showed a light up and slightly into the dark fabric tunnel, and knew immediately this was serious. There were dark red streaks and massive discolored patches of skin all over Theo's legs. Near the dark patch, it looked like there was some kind of cloth bandage taped on the back. There was a bit of a weird smell coming from the bandage, and Hero didn't need to be a human doctor to know this was very bad. He ran back toward Theo's head where Ray was still trying to get him to talk. "Ray, ask Theo what happened to his leg," called Hero as he ran across the difficult carpet. "Theo, what happened to your leg?" asked Ray. Theo's face scrunched in discomfort as he replied,
My dad got angry. He broke a bunch of bottles, I think. He was throwing them around. I got cut, I think. I sent bells to a friend's house to sleep over for a few nights. And on my birthday too,
mumbled Theo. Ray and Hero exchanged frantic looks. Ray obviously looked like he was at a complete loss. This was beyond either of the borrower boys' knowledge of how to fix. This was bad. Really bad.
I don't understand,
muttered Ray.
I saw him just the other day. He wasn't bad. He was fine.
Hero felt a tenseness in the air. It was tangible and making his chest feel tight. This kind of helplessness was akin to what he felt when he was taken. He hated it. Sadly, it looked like Ray was spiraling just as hard as he was. Hero wanted to hide away, but that wasn't what a true hero would do. A hero would be able to make the situation better and save the day. Then, an idea occurred to him. Doctors. Sam told him about doctors and how they were able to help at places called hospitals. It was a long time ago, but Sam had explained that there were people who would come to you and fix the problem in an emergency. This felt like an emergency. Hero wasn't sure how to do it, but he had to try. Sam explained it once before, where you take your phone and dial a few numbers to send the doctors to you. The borrower boys needed to find a phone. A calm set over Hero's mind and, like so many times before, he was able to take a breath, and the way forward seemed to be right there in front of him. He clasped Ray's shoulder in his hands and turned his friend to face him. "Ray, help me find Theo's phone," instructed Hero, snapping Ray out of his frozen state.
Phone? Right, it's here,"
Ray said as he looked around the room and spotted the phone on the top of the desk. Together, both boys ran toward the desk and scaled it, hand over fist, and ran across the smooth surface toward the technological device. Both of them had a fundamental understanding of how to use the device, but neither had done something like this before.
Okay, so now what?
Asked Ray.
We need to dial 911 and then hit the talk button,
said Hero.
Wait, we're going to have to talk to someone?
Asked Ray. Hero looked around frantically, seeing no other alternative, before Ray nodded, resolve setting Ray's features, before he crouched over the phone and tapped it. The screen glowed with life as Ray pressed the buttons, which were bigger than his hand. Lit from the screen, Hero thought Ray looked a little spooky as they both acknowledged what they were about to do.
We don't have to be seen when they come in,
reminded Hero.
We just have to get them here.
Do we even know where here is? Asked Ray as his hand hovered over the green phone button.
Starlight Paradise Apartments, and I think this is the 7th floor,
said Hero. Ray darted back across the table and shouted down to Theo.
Theo, what is this apartment? Where are we?
Shouted Ray.
813,
mumbled Theo, who convulsed again as his eyes lulled. Ray said the number over and over again as he sprinted back to the phone and crouched by the device. The two borrower boys exchanged one final look as they knew what they were about to do. Hero could only hope it was the right thing. Ray pressed the button. It took less than 10 seconds for a man's voice to come over the line. 911, what is the location of your emergency? Stated the operator. Ray, swallowing dryly, cleared his throat before speaking as loudly and as clearly as he dared.
Hello, yes, we're in the Starlight Paradise Apartments, room 813. My friend is on the floor and he is shivering. I think there's something wrong with his leg. He's in a wheelchair, but he's hurt. Please, can you get here fast?
Said Ray, biting his lip as he listened to the sounds of clicking and typing on the other end of the line. Has your friend ingested anything harmful recently? Asked the operator. Do you need an ambulance?
No, he hasn't ingested anything,
stated Ray. Hero felt his heart pounding out of his chest as he glanced over to the door, hoping no one else was in the apartment.
Look, he said his dad cut him with a broken bottle. He's a jerk. Please, just get here fast. He's really sick.
All right, just stay on the line and remain calm. An ambulance is on the way. What else can you tell me about his physical condition? Is he responsive at all? Or is he unconscious? Asked the operator.
He's kind of responding. He keeps trying to sleep. I'm having a hard time keeping him awake. But he's able to talk and stuff. When will they get here?
Asked Ray, looking wide-eyed at Hero. Neither of them could believe what was going on. They were talking to a human on the other end, and that human couldn't tell what they were. The operator didn't know the two boys were borrowers. The ambulance is almost there. Could you please open the door and be ready to show us where your friend is? Asked the operator. Both borrower boys exchanged wary glances.
I don't know,
sputtered Ray.
Look, he's in the back bedroom. I can't get the door unlocked. I don't know where his dad is. Just please, help him.
Understood. The paramedics are almost there, said the operator. Please, stay on the line. Both Ray and Hero exchanged wary glances, knowing they would need to hide away as fast as possible. Ray hated the feeling, but Hero's reassuring nod told him it was the right thing to do. It was only 5, maybe 6 minutes later, when there was a terrifying crashing sound from the other room. Hero and Ray nearly jumped out of their skins when they heard the sound of the loud knock followed by shouts from the other side of the door. The two knew they needed to run and hide, despite every instinct to make sure that Theo was all right. Hero and Ray darted across the desk and managed to slip down to the ground to hide under a cabinet near the desk. when another, even louder crash happened. The sound of splintering wood, followed by rapid footsteps, flooded the apartment. Helpless and hearts pounding, the two borrower boys crouched low and watched as 6 or so humans rushed into the room and began working on Theo, lifting him up onto a board with wheels and rushing him out of the room.
Well, here's the phone, but who made the call? Anyone is here?
Called one of the paramedics as she scanned all around the room. Hero and Ray barely had time to hide behind the legs of a nearby table when the paramedic checked under the bed for anyone who might be hiding. They thankfully left the phone behind as they finished up and rushed Theo out of the apartment.
We have to get that phone, hissed Ray. If something happens, we need to be able to answer calls and stuff. Are you crazy? Demanded Hero. We need to get back. We've pushed our luck as it is. No doubt someone else will be in here to sweep the room again.
Well, be quick, insisted Ray. I'll push it off of the table and we'll scoot it under the dresser into the walls. I'll come back and get it later.
Please, Hero. The family watching his sister will probably try and call him.
Hero didn't like it, but he couldn't deny Ray's pleas. He needed to help, not hinder. And the sooner they did this, the sooner they could get back and let Ashlyn know what happened. Never before had 2 borrowers moved so fast as the boys ascended the desk once again, pushed the phone off of the desk, and maneuvered it into the walls. They left the coins behind for the time being as they shoved and lifted the phone through the walls all the way down to Ashlyn's apartment. It took a long time, and there were dozens of questions that followed from Ashlyn, Soren, and Dorian as to why Ray had brought the phone with him. Hero helped fill in a few of the details, daring to come out and see Ashlyn, which was the first time he had done so in a long while. After a bit of hot chocolate, the friends decided that they had all done the right thing. Ashlyn decided she would help man the phone and make a few calls to make sure she knew where Theo was taken, claiming she was a cousin who was concerned. Hero didn't like the minor deception, but seeing that Ashlyn was able to get a few updates about Theo was a good sign. It was also a good sign to Hero that, after everything, he was still ready to help humans. He had gone out and helped Ray and Theo both today. He faced his fears and charged into the unknown, relying on his instincts and everything he had learned from his human friends to save someone. All in all, he felt good, heroic even. And it wouldn't be the last time.